Hi there, everyone. I have the light off for effect for this video because I feel as though, and I am convinced of this, that I am living in the dark ages of my life. I believe this to be some sort of Illuminati curse. Probably didn't start off that way, but the fact that my movement, uh, my intellectual information available to me is restricted. Basically, yeah, everyone I know either doesn't talk to me or it's limited conversation. The characters are vague and we don't talk very much. I have a few buddies I've known over the years that I've had conversations with, but there most certainly is topics where they refuse to acknowledge, well, especially my YouTube channel and my social media. Like, nobody wants anything to do with it. I don't blame them for that, although I think my one's quite good, in my opinion. Anyway, over the years I've talked about, or over the year of having this YouTube channel and the years of having my Facebook account before, one of the things I complained about was the sore throat that I have. At first, it was probably to try to get me to stop drinking, because I do believe it is the medicine that caused it, as I've said. And then it didn't really work, and now I know what they've done, and I've said, look, I'm going to go tell people what you do, and what you do will come unraveling. So, there's that. So, I have to live with discomfort pretty much every day, and it all could have come about because of my social media. My Facebook was getting up and going when I first started getting the sore throat. Very many years ago. I'd been in mental health a few years, and then I guess they put me on some special program, and things just kept escalating from there. And now here I am, as a voluntary patient. I've opted not to take medicine that caused, my brain to feel like it's touching the top of my skull and the ground beneath my feet crumbling and a whole pile of other things. I didn't want it. I don't have to take it, so I'm not going to. Hopefully this sore throat thing will clear itself up. I've also stopped drinking. I haven't drank in at least 6 weeks. I haven't even checked how long it's been since I've had a drink. I figure it's just best not to think about it and, occupy your mind with other thoughts. I think that's more healthy than being morbid about it, like going to AA and going, I'm an alcoholic, I'll always be an alcoholic, and all that other kind of shit. Just for the immediate sense, you gotta distract yourself with things to focus your attention on. And then it just becomes routine that you're not drinking. I will go back to drinking as soon as my throat clears up on a more permanent basis. Not right away when it gets better, but let it do its thing. Maybe even go a year without alcohol, that would be good. And then it should definitely be cleared up by then. Anyway, that aside, that's one problem I've got. My social network is another one. Like, for one thing, I don't even know who watches my YouTube videos. Most certainly somebody does. Whether it counts as views or not on my thing, whether anybody leaves a comment or not, are irrelevant. Some douchebag on the end of this fucking computer through the internet can see what I'm talking about. And I've said things, and I've pushed the envelope. I've made things issues. I've explained in kind of detail where I'm discussing a topic, but I still got some cards up my sleeve. my sources for information are limited. I don't have any special kind of internet that somebody else doesn't have. Although there most certainly are people out there who do have a better internet than other people do. Like, they get ones where there's actual definitions of words that you can't find in the dictionary, you can't find on Google. There most certainly is a lot of video footage out there that is just not available on YouTube or on the internet. I'm not saying I want it, because a lot of it's could be construed as fucked up shit, but I know it exists. That's what I know. And I've kind of said, look, man, this is the way it is. This is how I'm trying to describe that, how people are thinking wrong about the world, and I'm giving them the option to be a little bit smarter about things. That's what I try to do in my YouTube videos. I try to let people know that you don't have to be programmed into thinking something. You don't have to be Pinocchio. You don't have to be Chicken Little. You can use your logic. Be the detective. Be the person who does the research. Be the pioneer. Explore new terrain, new territory. And go with your wits and your ability to process information, and do your best, and you should be fine. Anyway, I have been in a predicament where I have a very limited social circle. Hardly get any conversation out of anybody for any significant amount of time. I don't even have people to hang out with, like outside of work, really. And I know it isn't because I'm a douchebag and nobody wants to hang out with me. I do see other people around, and I know they don't hang out with people either, maybe by choice or not, but I'm different from them. You don't say the kind of things you say on the internet, as I've said. Not everyone has the same total access to everything I say as the internet providers and whomever else. But rest assured, there's nothing I say or do on the internet I can't explain and wouldn't tell people if they asked me. They may go, well, what's your opinion on Vietnam? What's your opinion on propaganda? What's your opinion on Donald Trump? What's your opinion on this, that, and the other? And I'll tell them to the best of my ability of what I think. But this can lead to dangerous thinking, because now you're trying to change people's opinions. And there are people out there who don't like you doing that because they want to be the people who control what people think. They don't like interlopers. They don't want meddlers. They don't want people to undermine their authority. But their authority is corrupt. Not in the same sense that you're going to get some wingnut on Facebook thinking, but there most certainly is like dirty little tricks that they play. And you can be zeroed out, specifically if you are on social media and you become almost a gunboat, an intellectual, weaponized voice against the flow, the wave of propaganda. You may not get a lot of views, and you may not make any money, but you talk to people a certain way, you can get them interested in your stuff, and then you do have people watching your content. I feel as though this this dark period in my life isn't gonna always be this way. I am going to enter the normal social scene at some point. But the thing is, as you learn from music, good music can teach you a lot about certain things. But the the powers that be may be perfectly content with where you are. And although I've had a sore throat, although there's parts of me that want to get even with people who've been assholes to me, in the sense of me finding a way of doing something that they don't like. Many fair and reasonable ways to go about doing that. Some people don't care that you've been fucked over. Some people don't care that you're been in pain. They just don't care because there's so much pain and anguish in the world that they're not bothered. You have to prove that if they don't respect your authority, that you can and will be, to some degree, a bit of a problem. That you're going to be an inconvenience. That you're going to be someone who's not going to stay quiet. And in doing this, eventually, the doors to perception, the doors to a normal life, have to open up. These people who make decisions, these people who put an invisible cage around you because they don't like what you have to say, they don't like your impact on the world. They can't keep you down forever. And I will find a way out of this jam, because I know nothing's a guarantee in this world, and I have no sure way of knowing that I'm ever going to be free of this problem. Is very unfair for me, I think. I have no idea. With the medicine they were giving me that was making me sick, that's just part of the problem. I feel it's some kind of experiment. They picked a guy who didn't have many friends, expressed certain maybe far-fetched ideas onto social media, with maybe what they thought was disregard to his own well-being. Because a lot of people are paranoid about the internet. You don't know who's watching. There are a lot of creeps out there and all that sort of stuff. But this is Canada. I'm not worried about that, man. Not worried about it at all. And given my size and intellect, not particularly afraid either of some douchebag troll who's gonna be not liking me. They can be off. So things are dumbed down so hard around me that quite simply it is easy to give up, to just kind of be accepting and happy of your environment and be content with what you have, and not aspire to be better, not aspire to get more, not aspire to do cool things and live an awesome life. They want you to be that way. They want you to work your job, contribute to a society, maybe have your small circle of friends. Do this occasionally, go somewhere occasionally, but for the most part, you're contained. You're not going to go anywhere. If they think that you're going to be a nuisance, you're going to be a menace to society, or just a prick altogether, and they can stop you. There will be people who just automatically don't like you, especially if you take a serious stand on political issues, and they will say slanderous things about you, even if they know they aren't true. But that's just to deceive the feeble-minded, the weak-minded. And it's a dirty, low-down tactic, and I ain't got no respect for people who have to do that sort of thing. And I don't care what their reason is. I try to be honest. I try not to lie. Sometimes you have to because it's just easier. You just can't invest the time to form complicated lies for everyone. Which is part of the reason why I've been kind of shoved into the corner as I have, because it seemed at the time for these doctors, who knows who else, rather than deal with me because they were too busy doing their own things, to just push me in the corner and try and forget about me. Maybe I'll just get quiet, get uninterested, and just conform to normal society. Well, that wasn't going to happen. I wasn't going to roll over and play dead for them. I wasn't going to roll over and give up. I am the guinea pig running in on the wheel in a cage, and the brain's always thinking, and I will figure out how to get this stigma off of me, because I know there are assholes out there who, if they have their way, I will never get to the next step in my life. I'll just fade away, disappear, and that will be the end of it. Some people would be happy with that because they don't want trouble in their life. They don't want things to be difficult. And that's fine. But if you're a guy like me who was active on social media, who did try to change people's opinions on things, you can't just go back to the quiet, normal life. Because if you do, some creepy shadow may come along and get you while you're, you've dumbed down your life and you're living this simple existence. That ain't gonna happen to me. And if that means I have to look over my shoulder for the rest of my life, then that's just the way it's gonna have to be. Because there are assholes running around in this fucking country, in this fucking city, in this fucking continent, who I don't know if they can be stopped necessarily, but you can definitely be a prick to them. You can definitely inconvenience them. You can definitely cause them anguish and anger and just generally make them unhappy. Because, well, that's what they deserve. It's a very complicated thing to explain, especially when you have no resources to spoon feed you this information. A lot of people rely on it. That's very good for being able to remember things. That if you're being told something, you remember it. But that's not the entirety of intelligence. You have to be able to be the pioneer, as I said. You have to be able to do the discovery for your own, not be told what you've discovered by somebody else who discovered what they're trying to tell you that you've discovered. That's not, you didn't discover anything, you're just being taught what to think. Now, nothing I said isn't something that somebody else could have thought of, but I ain't seen no videos about it. So as far as I'm concerned, I have contributed new content to the internet, because that's part of what the problem with social media is. Not enough people contribute enough information of their own. They don't come up with new stories, they don't come up with new ideas, and we're in kind of a quagmire where nothing gets done. And a lot of people are stupid pricks on the internet. But yes, this comes with its problems. The Illuminati curse, as I call it. At the time being, I look at myself as an Illuminati foot soldier. I don't have much authority. I don't know much. I just the whipping boy, the punching bag at this point. But I hope to climb the ranks and make something of myself. Because I'm not content with where I am. Sure, got a not bad paying job. I got a house. Got some cool items. But I'm not content. I don't have enough. I need more. I want to better my situation. Yeah. I just, I'm in a prison. It's not quite like, being behind steel bars or in a concrete building, but there's limited places I can go to, because I just don't have the time, because I'm at work all the time. I have a physical impediment, which hopefully will be lifted in a few months' time. We'll find out about that. It's like a goldfish in a fish tank. I can't really move around or do anything. So in a sense, it is my prison. The outside world has conspired against me to put me in a certain place where I can't go left, can't go right, can't go forward, can't go back. But this will change. It's the most complicated problem I've had in my entire life, is figuring out a way out of this box. I think that I have a very reasonable opinion about things, and that with presented new information, I'm open to the idea of certain cultural society norms that other people may believe. It all depends, may not exactly agree with it, but I can be flexible. We'll find out. Anyway, I want to get into making more YouTube videos. Even more than I'm doing now. Like, I'm up to like 225 videos. That ain't bad going. In the span of just over a year. And some of them aren't as good as I'd like them to be. But some of them are better than I expected them to be. And the thing is, what's happened to me, it can happen to anybody. It just takes the right social circumstances. Few people don't like you. You exhibit symptoms of mental illness, perhaps. You grew up being antisocial, so you didn't learn how to speak properly. Maybe you lived it through the media. You emulated it. You imitated it. Maybe you didn't understand how the world really worked, how human nature really is. And then you wake up one day and you're in your early 30s, and the world wasn't what you thought it was when you were growing up. And you stood out in the crowd, you zigged when other people zagged, and you made a splash. And some people didn't like it. And that could be part of the reason why you may be given something unfortunate, like a sore throat, such as myself. I know you change a few elements in my story and change it for somebody else, because everyone's different, And they could be in a social situation where they get beaten up every day, which isn't right. I mean, mostly, I think, anyway. I don't know. This sore throat might actually be protecting me from getting beaten up elsewhere. I know that sounds crazy, but it seems to have kept those who don't like me happy. It's like my anguish makes them feel better. Well, if you expect me to cry a river in front of you to make you feel better because I've said things that you don't like, you'd be wrong. I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna get rid of my sore throat, and I'm gonna progress in life, and you can go screw off. Because make no mistake, I have enemies. Enemies I've never seen, don't know anything about them, and they know ways of getting back at me, and they're like, I don't want to say flies to a shit, because I'm not a shit, but they're not going to piss off. They're going to buzz around, and it's going to be near impossible to get rid of them. And their sole purpose is to try and fuck me up. And excuse me, but I'm not going to put up with that. I'm not going to get fucked up. Yeah, this is, these are thoughts I have on a daily basis. I've had these ideas for a long time. Yeah, it's just finding the correct words to describe exactly what my position is isn't always so easy. Because, yeah, this process that I've gone through isn't going to work on everyone. Some people have reached what you may call the zenith of their intellectual capability, where they cannot learn anything more. They can't understand it. They never will. And as I said, that can happen to anyone. You think you're smart enough, you think you know enough about the world, you think you have enough of a social life that it can't happen to you. Slowly but surely, if given the right reasons, the world can turn on you, and the whispering campaign begins. The talking behind your back, stabbing you in the back. And it could be hard to notice that until it's already happened. Until you're in a situation where you're not ideally where you want to be. Maybe there are some benefits to where you are, like there is for me, but I'm not where I ideally want to be. I've been whipped long enough, and I have been a prick in certain ways, here and there. Not very often. I try to be a nice person, but sometimes I feel physically ill. Sometimes I'm frustrated. Sometimes I'm just not getting to where I want to be in my head. Because I don't feel like I have a speech impediment, although it may seem that way to some people. But that's because the restrictions around what I can talk about, when I can talk about it, how I talk about it, are so controlled that people are, I want to say the word obsessive compulsive, but that may mean different things to other people. When I think of obsessive compulsive, I think it's just someone who can't be reasoned with, you can't change their mind, and they won't explain themselves. That's what I think when I think of obsessive compulsive. I may have mentioned that in another video, I can't remember. Yeah, I really, I feel bad for other people who get put in kind of a corner. They get put in the dark, and they can never figure a way out of it because they're just not smart enough. When I emerge into regular society, I'll have a different outlook on things. My experience in this confined area for me all these years has taught me lessons and patience, and I consider things that other people may not. I may have new ideas that I can contribute to a social network. Well, yeah, this is definitely a very, very big challenge for me. Anyway, yeah, I think I'm gonna watch an episode of Transformers from the 80s. I just watched the first one because I wanted to rewatch the series because I haven't seen it since I was small. So I'd forgotten all of it basically except for a few scenes on YouTube. It's kind of corny, but kind of interesting. Anyway, yeah, I just wanted to explain to people, look, I am in the dark ages of my life. I am capable of a higher intellect, improving my horizon. Sometimes it may seem as though I can't speak properly, but believe me, I can. And the second I get an opportunity to, yeah, I'm gonna go for it. And everything will work out. Anyway, talk to you guys later. Have a good one.